Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to tackle one of the biggest, most exciting, and kind of confusing topics out there: DeFi, or decentralized finance. Our goal? To break down what it is and why it matters, all in under 5 minutes. Let's do this. So, before we can really get DeFi, we have to talk about the system it's up against. Good old traditional finance. You know the drill: banks, brokers, stuffy offices. It's a world built on gatekeepers, endless paperwork, and, of course, banking hours. It works for the most part, but man, can it be slow, expensive, and let's be honest, not everyone even gets a seat at the table. And this really lays it all out, doesn't it? In the old world, you need permission for everything. You have to get approved for a bank account. DeFi? It's open to literally anyone with an internet connection. Banks close at 5, but DeFi is on 24/7, 365. And that international wire transfer that takes days and costs a fortune, DeFi can often do it in minutes. It's a totally different way of looking at how money should. So you see, DeFi isn't just about putting a fresh coat of paint on the old system or making it a little bit faster. No way. This is a fundamental paradigm shift. It's about rebuilding the entire financial system from scratch on a completely new foundation. So what is it at its core? DeFi is a financial system built on the blockchain. And what that really means is it completely cuts out the middlemen. All those banks, brokers, and clearinghouses, they're replaced by code. The rules of the game are automated, totally transparent, and open for everyone to see and use. The best way to think about it is in layers. At the very bottom, you have the blockchain itself. That's the secure, unchangeable foundation. Then, built on top of that, you have smart contracts. These are just bits of code that automatically enforce the rules. It's like having the rules of finance without needing any referees or rulers. And finally, on the very top, you have the apps that you and I can actually use for stuff like lending or trading. And that brings us to what is by far the coolest and most powerful idea in all of DeFi. It's a concept that the sources call money Legos. The original Turkish phrase you're seeing here is para legoları, and trust me, it is the absolute key to understanding why the space is innovating at lightning speed. Think about it just like actual Legos. Each DeFi app, whether it's for lending, trading, or whatever, is like a single Lego block. And because the whole system is open source, anyone, anywhere in the world can take these blocks and snap them together in new ways without asking for permission. You could combine a lending block with a trading block to create something totally new. This idea is called composability, and it means that innovation that would take years and millions of dollars in traditional finance can happen in a matter of weeks in DeFi. It's incredible. All right, so let's grab our first Lego block and see how it works. We're talking about lending. Now, getting a loan in DeFi is a completely different ballgame than walking into a bank. Here's the kicker. DeFi does not care about your name, your job, or your credit score. All that matters is the collateral you can put up. To get a loan, you have to lock up digital assets that are actually worth more than the amount you want to borrow. This is the core concept of over-collateralization. A pretty standard rate you'll see is 150%. So to borrow $100, you would need to lock up $150 worth of another crypto asset like Ethereum. Now, why the extra amount? Well, that extra collateral acts as a critical safety cushion. It protects the lender and the system from the wild price swings you see in the crypto markets. Okay, next block up: trading. And I want you to forget everything you think you know about traditional stock exchanges, because DeFi flips the script entirely. Instead of old school order books and market makers, DeFi uses something called automated market makers, or AMMs. The best way to picture these is as giant automated pools of money. Anyone can contribute their crypto to a pool to help provide liquidity, and anyone can come and trade against that pool, instantly 24/7. This little table gives us a peek under the hood. So before the trade, the pool has 1,000 ETH and 2 million USDC, setting the price at $2,000 per ETH. Now watch this. When a user swaps 10 ETH into the pool, the amount of ETH goes up. In response, the smart contract automatically sends some USDC out of the pool to the user. And because the ratio of the two assets has changed, the price automatically adjusts. It all just happens. No brokers, no phone calls, no waiting for the market to open. It's all just code. But, and this is a really big but, this new financial world is not some perfect utopia, not by a long shot. When you're building on the absolute bleeding edge of technology, you're going to face some new and pretty serious challenges. Honestly, the biggest risks come from the code itself. Smart contracts can have bugs, and hackers are always looking for ways to exploit them. The famous DAO hack back in 2016 is a perfect example, where a flaw in the code led to tens of millions of dollars being stolen. Beyond that, governments are still trying to wrap their heads around this stuff, so the rules are constantly changing. And maybe most importantly for users, if you lose the private keys to your wallet, your money is just gone. Forever. There's no customer support line to call. But the amazing thing is how fast the space is evolving to solve these problems. Right now, technologies called Layer 2s are making transactions way faster and cheaper. Looking just ahead, we're starting to see real-world assets, like a piece of a building or a carbon credit, get tokenized and traded on-chain. And further out, the big goal is to build the infrastructure that's safe and compliant enough for major institutions to jump in. So, after all that, what's the big picture? What does this all mean for the future of finance? We've seen that DeFi offers this transparent, open, and incredibly programmable alternative to the system we've had for centuries. But what's the ultimate destination here? So here's the billion-dollar question we're left with. Will all these money Legos actually build a more open, fair, and efficient financial system for everybody? Or are we just creating a more complex, more volatile version of the casino we already have? The future of finance is being built right now, one Lego block at a time.